soy el fuego que...
I knew you will be dancing.
Sorry.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to your Realtor Sensei show. I am Sandra Jauregui-Schlapitz, and today we have a special guest, is Sid Fernandez with us. Thank you very much, Sid, to give us your time.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just glad that I pressed mute before I started speaking, so I'm glad that I nailed it.
Well, Sid is originally from Miami. Sid is one of the first generations of Cuban-American. He had 10 years of military service. Thank you very much for your service. Marine Corps, Air Force, and served overseas. Prior to real estate, he also spent 12 years in aviation as an electrician and flight engineer. Sid is currently the NAHREP, National Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. He's the president since 2019. He's also a mortgage loan officer, and he is a father of two.
That we know of.
A boy and a girl. Well, Sid, share with the audience, who is Sid Fernandez?
Oh, Lord. Do we want the good version or the bad one? No. Listen, guys, thank you guys first and foremost. Thank you to Sandra. The show has really taken off. To see you grow this since the first time we ever spoke about you doing video. I'm immensely proud of you. And I hope that you're proud of yourself, because it takes a lot of you-know-whats to do what you're doing and to do it consistently. So I applaud you, and I'm humbled to be here. And for me, I'm just a kid from Miami. I grew up to Cuban parents, grew up to Cuban grandparents. I've been a gypsy since I could remember. I made some poor choices after high school and decided I needed to do the best thing for me, which is reset my life, just like a bad Nintendo game, and joined the military. I joined the Marine Corps really on a whim. I woke up one day and said, I can't continue doing this. I went into an office. 19 days later, I was gone. When you make that choice at that age, you don't really know what's going to end up happening for your future. And I can tell you it was probably the best decision in my life. I needed a steel boot to whip me into shape and to really make me understand what true priorities were, as well as camaraderie, loyalty, and hard work. And that continued to trickle through with aviation. I worked as a contractor in many different places. Ended up rejoining the military with the Air Force. Got to fly around the world. Been to Afghanistan numerous of times, even though it doesn't look like I've gotten a tan, but I promise you, Afghanistan's got wonderful sun when you're there. And the stories that I have from there, I will carry them forever. The relationships that I created in the military I'll create forever. Real estate was really, for me, it was a way for me to finally believe in myself, to be very honest with you. I was making very good money working for Gulfstream Aerospace in Georgia prior to moving to Naples in 2018. And I just knew that there was something bigger for me. And it really was going to take me to make the choice to say, hey, throw all the chips on you. Whether you get hit in the face, hit a wall, you just got to do it. You finally have to commit to yourself. And now we're here 4 years later. So wow. It's been a trek. It's been a trek.
So how did you decide to become a mortgage loan officer from military?
I laugh because it's almost like, do you really choose it? No, but really, it was really opportunity. Just to kind of go back to 2017, and I want people to understand this, because we're on this show, and luckily enough, I've been successful this year. I'm around other people that are successful, but I was living out of my car at the beginning of 2017. I lived in my vehicle for about 2 weeks in Savannah, Georgia. So I had enough money to be able to pay for an apartment. And I got stuck in that salary wheel. I think a lot of us do. And when real estate kickstarted for me was, I want to say it was December of 2017. I was offered a managerial position with Gulfstream, getting paid very good money. And I just said, absolutely not. Like this, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I legit saw myself miserable. And I just knew that there was something bigger. Went to them the next day, said, listen, I'm probably gonna be out of here in the next 3 months. And I started scouring. I actually started off as a business development specialist. with Supreme Lending back in 2018, and that's how I got my start in this business. The decision to make a loan, become a loan officer, is I was tired of being broke, so I made a decision to become a loan officer, and I've come to really love it.
So you found what you love to do.
I've always loved to help people, and we use that term a lot in this business, and it's true. We do. I love it. It's been great that I get to make the money that I do in this industry while still doing something that I absolutely love. Would it have been loan officer? Would it have been real estate? Who knows? I think that this trek was much better to my skill set. I believe that the loan officer world is fun, even though it's stressful. It's very tedious. It's very numbers driven, which I really, really love. And though I may not see myself doing it for 20 years, it's definitely something that I hold very near and dear to me because I love evolving in this business.
Wow. So tell me a little bit of how did you get involved with NAHREP? Who introduced you to NAHREP?
2 words, 1 name, Marilyn Saints. So in 2018, like anybody else that's new to an area, you have to go in, you really have to survey it, get an understanding of the people in the business, the events you need to go to, and what makes sense to spend my time on and what not to. And I forgot the event that her and I had met. And I guess she saw me the way I worked the room. And she approached me one day over the phone and asked me to sit down with her for lunch. This was, again, back in 2018 when I first moved here. And she had expressed to me what NAHREP was. She explained to me what she needed. And really, I did it blindly, to be very honest with you. I had really no clue what NAHREP was. You can explain it. You can sit down with someone, talk to them about it. But really, until you feel it, it's just something else. It's an opportunity to maybe grow, to get out there, to expand your brand, expand your network. And at the beginning, that's what it was. And I always will be thankful to Marilyn for doing that.
Wow, one person.
One person.
One person, and you were new in the business, and that was probably the right person that you needed to meet.
It's funny how that happens, right? It's they always say it's always that one thing. You hit your head 99 times, but that last time can be the life-changing and altering moment in your life. And I think we all go through it. And for me in this industry, that was my moment. That was the biggest door up to this point that I've had. And again, I will always be thankful for it.
And that brings my next question. Share with the audience, how did NAHREP change the course of your future?
So I believe that sit down happened in August of that year. At the end of that month, it was my first event, first time going to an NAHREP event. And I got to meet some people. I got to kind of mingle. And then I joined in my first meeting. And I had certain skill sets and certain things that I had learned, through the military and other places that I was able to bring immediately. And I made an immediate impact just from the small things that I had picked up. Then our first real event where I was a part of as a committee member in 2018 was at Kensington. It was probably one of the biggest events that we've done here in Naples. It was about 145 people. Kensington was full. It was rocking. There was music. There was top-end brokers. There was real estate agents from everywhere. And they had asked me to MC the event. And me being me, if there's an empty or an available microphone, I'm going to pick it up. That's just me. And when I was blessed with that opportunity, I wanted to make sure that people left that room feeling something. And they heard me speak along with everyone else. And then I started getting approached by people. I was like, who are you? Who are you? And it's always about timing and opportunity. I've always thought I've had the right timing. I just didn't have the opportunity. That day, I think it was October 7th, if I remember correctly. That day changed everything for me because I went from just Sid Fernandez, who the heck is that guy? He's fun. Now it sounds like, whoa. This guy's, he's got it. He's got something about him. And I felt it. It reverberated. And since then, I've evolved within NAHREP. I've evolved as a man. I've evolved as a business person, as an entrepreneur. And again, would it have happened without it? Most likely. But the way and the depth of the relationships that I've created within this, second to none up to this point. So that really changed everything for me. It busted the door down pretty quick for me.
So explain to the audience, what is the mission of NAHREP? Because I can see with you, your experience, that you actually live the mission of NAHREP?
Very, very simply put, guys, there's a long, there's a paragraph for the mission, but the mission is basic. Our job is to provide and bring sustainable home ownership to the Latino community. How do we do that? 3 main pillars, right? Networking, education, and advocacy. We hear those terms a lot, but it means a great deal. And that's that mantra or that mission may not have been that important to me when I was younger, because you're kind of naive, you don't really have wide perspective. But as you get older and you start to reconnect and you start to mature in your life, you kind of go back to the stories of those people that mean a great deal in your life. And you start to realize the experiences that they had going through the process of purchasing a home or becoming an entrepreneur. And you hear these horror stories. And at the end of the day, the only people that can change that and make change is us. We can't sit home and complain. We can't just sit there and moan and thinking that things are going to change from the sky. I felt something, and when I heard the stories of others in this organization, it tied me directly to my grandparents. I'm like, this is what I need to do. I need to be involved in this, not only for my own personal growth, but because I don't ever want anybody to feel like my grandparents felt when they were robbed at the table. And that story is shared by many of people, and that meant a big deal for us. And obviously, immigration is a big topic that gets talked about, and whatever side you stand on. Listen, people are here. People are undocumented, but they're giving back to our ecosystem, to our community. The best thing that we can do is to educate those people, because we're only as strong as the weakest links. And they're not weak mentally. They're not weak physically. They're just weak in education. And I think it's our responsibility to always educate those so that we're all flourishing. So that's, truth be told, the mission, and that's what it means to me.
Wow, great. It's amazing to hear that, explain it that way, because a lot of people really don't know what is NAHREP, the NAHREP mission. And one of the questions that I always get is when they say National Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. A lot of people think this is only for the Latino realtors, the Latino mortgage broker. Tell and explain the audience that that's not right.
Well, it's absolutely true. We don't want you if you can't speak Spanish. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, guys, we think about the acronym, and maybe when you read the acronym, we're like, maybe it can change. But listen, at the end of the day, NAHREP has created STEAM. But here's the truth, guys. We don't care if you speak Spanish. We don't care if you speak just English. We don't care if you speak other languages. At the end of the day, you becoming a member, you becoming a director, a committee person, or whatever it is you want to do with NAHREP, at the end of the day, you need to come here with an open heart and open mind, plain and simple. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you speak, what dialect you speak, or where you come from. Diversity and inclusiveness is important across the board. Doesn't matter what you look like, okay? And all of our events are in English, minus the ones in Puerto Rico, because obviously they can do the entire thing in English. But it's catered for everyone. We've had people that are Russian, we've had people that are Italian, we've had people that are Polish at our events. And we love it, because at the end of the day, our own familias come from different places and they look different. And that's how we carry ourselves at these events. It's how we carry ourselves in the border, and it's how we carry ourselves when we're promoting our chapter. That's what we want. It's inclusivity. So if you really need subtitles, we'll bring you a translator. One of the directors will sit next to you and just translate it to you, like if you're one of those tourists with the headsets.
if they need one of those.
Everyone is welcome, and we want you to come, because each and every one of you have a different skill set. Each and every one of you have something to teach and something to give of value. And we want you guys to shine. We want you guys to share that value with others. That's the way we grow. So everyone's included here, guys.
Because we all serve the Latino community. So
you're darn right. That's
the truth. So
absolutely.
So you're the president of NAHREP since 2019. What are the motivators that keep you involved in such a high level?
You have to put things in front of you, right? So in our businesses, they go so fast, especially now. We're in a record pace, still continuing to be. And life tends to get really fast, and then we forget about the important things. We need grounding moments in our lives to remember where we come from, remember why we do things. And I'm I'm not perfect. But what I do know is that when I'm at my most stressful or I'm tapped out, I'm exhausted, at the end of the day, I remember what my grandparents went through. I remember how exhausted they were. My grandfather driving trucks when he moved to this country and doing it day in, day out, leaving two little kids with my grandmother being tired and exhausted. How am I going to sit here and complain about being successful in my business? That will always continue to push me. It always continues to push me to be better because they never made excuses. They didn't make an excuse when my grandfather snuck out of Cuba. They didn't make an excuse when he busted up to New York, took $200 from his father, worked, paid him back, moved down to Miami, not knowing anybody. If they weren't exhausted enough to stop, then I can. And I'm going to continue pushing, whether as a president, whether as emeritus, whether as the committee member. I will always be a part of this because of what they went through. So it's perspective, really.
Great. I love that. So tell me, let's talk about a little bit mortgage. Share with us how you provide an astounding home loan experience to your clients. What makes you different than others?
I'm different because it's just my personality. I mean, Sandra, you laugh because you know, right? Who you see here in this chat, who you see on the road, who you see on any type of Facebook Live videos, I don't change. I am who I am. I have the knowledge that I have in this mortgage industry because I've been blessed with leaders. I've been blessed to have a tenacity of learning and wanting to learn and be better. But you're just gonna feel at home when you talk to me. I mean, just to give you a quick story, okay? This was 2 weeks ago. It's been really, really stressful the last 4 weeks. I had a really, really bad week. This couple couldn't get on a call until about 10:30 in the evening, which is fine. In some cases, I'm okay with that, okay? And I do a lot of Zoom calls with my clients so I can screen share so they can see what exactly they're doing, what exactly they're going through, what their fees are like, all that good stuff. And I told this couple, I was like, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's been very stressful, and I'm going to have a drink with you. And they looked at me like, I was like, I'm just being real. She's like, you know what? The wife walked away. She came back, wine bottle. And all of a sudden, it was like just a conversation amongst friends. And we went through fees. We went through the process. They left not only, maybe a little bit tipsy, but I felt that they were just comforting. They were comfortable in the process. We've evolved in this industry. We always used to think of real estate professionals and especially bankers as suit and tie, suit and tie. Well, guess what? We live in South Florida, and I don't feel like having pit stains. So I sweat a lot. So I refuse. I can't. I'm wearing a button down to be nice to the sensei, but really I'm a t-shirt guy. And I think that people, when they sense that someone's in their element and they're in their comfort zone, it makes them automatically comfortable. And that to me is something that I pride myself on. It's always making people feel like they're eye level. Never that I'm above them or below them. I want them eye level. I want the comforting side so that they open up and that they can be open to being educated, because this process should be an education. It should be schooling for them, because these families could potentially be second homeowners or investors. And by teaching them that and getting that touch, it's like what Terry Watson said yesterday, right? What's the experience? How do they feel? And I think that when people leave conversations with me, they feel not as in the dark and they feel educated. And I think that's a big key to this.
That is very important. I think that the more we educate the clients, the customer, it's way better, because they need to understand what they're doing. This is a very important event for their lives. So I think it's very important. So what are the things people should do avoid problems, issues with getting a loan?
The biggest thing I see, Sandra, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, be completely honest. Because here's the issue, guys. This is very emotional and it can be very stressful, not just for us, the servicers, but it's you guys. And when you start to hold back information, the information is gonna pop up. It's kind of like what happened with our parents. Like, "Tú hiciste esto? Did you do this?" No, I never did it. They find out, they know, right? It's the same thing with us. Be honest and forthright, because what can end up happening is if you lie, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the line, now we're 2 weeks away from closing. Now you're maybe past a contingency window. Maybe you've got plenty of money invested, and now maybe the loan goes dead because you lied about something that could have been handled either before the contract process or maybe even right at the beginning. So being forthright and being honest about what your past is and where you currently are is a massive key to a very smooth transaction. And I'm going through one right now. The lady was very honest from the get-go. This is what's going on. This is what happened. This is what happened in my past. Whatever you need, I can provide it. That right there, guys, allows us to have all the pieces, all the Legos. We all have all messed with Legos with children ourselves, and we all hate them. When we get to this middle piece, like, where did this piece go? That's how it is for us. So be completely forthright. We're not here to judge. We're here to walk you. We're here to guide you through this. And the only way to do that is to have the flashlight on everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. You need to just tell the truth from the beginning. So,
Correct.
given the economic climate, tell the audience your closing thoughts to what opportunities lie ahead with rates being so low.
Case in point, I'll give you a personal one, right? So with rates being as low as they have been, okay, we own our home here in Naples, okay, and we're in the process of purchasing a new property outside of here. The property we bought here in Naples was a $293,000 house, okay. Granted, it's gone up in value, whoop, whoop. But the new property in the area in which we're going to is it's much more expensive. It's about $450,000. My mortgage in this property is $23 more than my current one. Why? Because interest rates are so different. Guys, interest rates, very simply put, is a level of risk. The lower the interest rate just means you're less riskier person. That's what it is. So in this current climate, it gives you so much more buying power. And even though rates aren't in the twos consistently like we used to see, still being in the threes is still pretty darn good. As rates continue to climb, because they will, we've all heard the inflation talks, we all hear about that, they're going to continue going up. Will they be astronomical? Probably not. But if there's a time in your life to start preparing and to be educated, is now. Because you may not get the opportunity, because as interest rates go up, what happens? Your monthlies go up. So get educated. Don't be pushy to getting something done, because you may be, in layman's terms, screwing yourself out of a much better deal. This is where our job as educators comes into play, looking at the entire picture, looking at credit, looking at what you have, and saying, hey, I think 2 months of wait is going to do you a lot more good long term. And again, that's the power of interest rates right now. You can really get into a home that actually you wouldn't think was affordable, but actually is, because it's all about monthly payment, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing with interest rates right now.
And I know I wanted to close with that, but you brought me something that I always tell the people: don't look at the amount of the property, look at the payment. Can you afford that payment?
Correct.
And with the rates being lower right now, if you rent, you're paying actually more that you will pay if you own a property, probably bigger than the one that you're renting.
We just have to remember, guys, renting is not for everybody, but I do believe it's a tool for others, right? People that are kind of come and go. Buying a property doesn't make sense. But for most people in Naples, Naples used to be very transient and still is to a certain extent, but Naples has evolved. Naples is a place where people are staying. You're seeing a lot of families moving here because this is a treasure coast. Obviously, with everything going on, very free down here, people want to move down here. The big thing for you guys is make sure that your lender, whoever it is that you're dealing with, whoever it is you deal with in the future, and this is a little caveat that I've heard a lot of people miss. Make sure you are getting a future or an estimated tax bill as to what it will be. I've had too many clients have come to me saying, I didn't know that I was going to be paying so much in mortgage. I was like, that's impossible. You have a loan estimate. But what ended up happening was we have a current tax bill, which if you've owned the home since the 80s, guess what? Your tax bill is going to be peanuts. I actually saw a tax bill that was $294 for the year.
Wow.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What ends up happening is, guys, when you go through a refinance or a purchase, your taxes will be reset to the new assessed value through that transaction, right? Please make sure you are requesting from your lender, what will my estimated tax bill be? Will it be exact? Probably not, but it'll give you a ballpark. I would hate to see that you get into a home that you love and you're gung-ho about, all of a sudden your tax bill goes up $360. I've had one that went up $500 and they didn't have that conversation. These are important pieces. So absolutely.
Thank you, Sid, for your
Sure.
time. It was great to have you on the show, and looking forward to see you soon.
I know we don't see each other very much, so I really hope we do see each other soon. And before I go, if you have any interest in joining this chapter, in joining NAHREP, or just getting to see it, please feel free to reach out to the Sensei young lady to my left or to her right, however you're looking, or to myself. You know, guys, it's on my Facebook page. Please feel free. My number is always open. I'd love to introduce you to what NAHREP is and hopefully have you become a part of the familia. So thank you, Sandra, for having me on.
Thank you. Bye-bye.